Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
No, you don't. My name is Mike Piroworski. I am the co-host coming to you from the East Coast. That's the co-host with the most from the coast with the most. Here on the Rundown, 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. It is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we do not. Mike, I think I've got a good shot at beginning the weekend today.
I think so. That's good to hear. How are you doing it? How you doing your plan?
Well, first of all, it's just too damn hot around here. I mean, I'm hot. I'm like, 12 right. Years a slave hot. It is just hot. I saw the devil walking down the street the other day, and he was saying, damn, it is hot. So, First and foremost, nobody's really going to want to do anything because it's, well, what did I say it was?
Hot.
It was so bad, Mike. I'm telling you.
Did I miss it?
It got so bad that I'm sitting there in a restaurant yesterday, and all of a sudden everybody's phone goes off, right? You know those, like the Amber Alerts, like, a bomb is about to be dropped on the town, on the city, right? This massive alert. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, what's gonna happen?" And they're like, "Extreme heat alert. Please don't use excessive energy during this time." I'm like, really?
What a maroon. Yeah.
I've come to the realization, Mike, that quite frankly, since COVID, government is just not happy unless they have us panicking about something. Right now, it's the heat, right? Before that, it was monkeypox. It was COVID.
Yep.
It was rain. Oh my God, it's gonna rain! Yet it does that every year.
Yeah. It does. Craig, we were 106 yesterday is what we had with the heat index, right? I too also saw the devil walking down the street, and he wouldn't make eye contact with me. Go. I don't know you.
I don't know you.
I don't know you.
Oh, that joke could go so wrong so many different ways. We're not even going to go there. We're not even going to go there. But anyway, it's just amazing to me, though, man. Anyway, they're just going crazy. I'm like, look, folks, it's hot. I get it. It's hot. It's a few degrees hotter than we are used to. I mean, over 100 is not abnormal for Sacramento, California. 113, 117 is a little abnormal. But having said that, guess what? Today it's only 108.
Listen, let's face it. I mean, your governor, you need some religious punishment. So I mean, he's. The Lord is spiting him and his people right now. So it's just, that's what you get. Yeah, that's what you get.
Giving Californians a taste of what it's going to be like if we continue to follow this governor.
That's it. There you go. That's good.
Straight to the gates of Hades.
There you go. Yeah. Well, we do know of some people, though, Craig, that decided to leave, too. We'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we do. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and take care of our formalities. Let's start by giving a shout out to our sponsors.
Let's say hi to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. If you got yourself an AR, odds are you may have one of their barrels already, but now you can buy them individually for your own build. So check them out at hitmanindustries.net. You got the California Republican Assembly fighting the good fight behind the enemy lines. Make sure you support them with your dollars if you get the chance. And then, of course, if you got some dollars left over, head on over and get you some cool, awesome tactical gear from uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Look, now these are the folks that allow us to be able to come to you. So all you got to do to help us help you, or help them help us help you, is simply follow the links in the description of this program. check them out. If you like what you see, spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them that the guys over at the Rundown sent you. Also, want to encourage you, please, however you are partaking of the program, let your friends know. If you have not liked, shared, or subscribed the program, please do so. And let folks know there's tons of different ways. If you got friends who aren't on Facebook, guess what? We're on YouTube. Got friends who aren't on YouTube? Guess what? You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts if you just want to listen to the program. Google Podcasts. Trust me, there's no way you cannot find us as long as you're connected to the interweb nets. So do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same.
Craig, we always say like, share, subscribe, and everybody says like, share, subscribe. Shouldn't it be like, subscribe, share?
Yeah. I'm just assuming the reason why I say like, share, subscribe is because chances are they've already subscribed if they're regular watchers of the program. I don't know very few people who have not subscribed because, you get the alerts, and that's how you become a regular, because you see, oh, man, Craig and Mike are live. I got to go watch. You get that notification on your phone.
Right. Yeah. I get it's like the old one in the movie business, right? Lights, action, camera, which is wrong, right? It's lights, camera.
Lights, camera, action. That's the right way.
Yeah, there you go. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Although they totally ignore sound.
Yeah, we don't need sound. It's an old. It's not a talkie. It's an old movie. And the cameras are black and white. Just so you know,
speaking of that, matter of fact, maybe after we're done with the program, the short film Western that I did, actually is done, and I'll have to play it for you afterwards, after we get off. You folks don't get to watch it, sorry, but I'll let Mike.
You just finished filming. You just finished filming last week, and it's already done.
Well, no. That's a different film. That's a feature-length film called Confessions of an Alcoholic Hitman. That one we're still in the process of editing and whatnot. This is the short film that we shot, I want to say back in like May or April.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'll let you check it out. Sorry, y'all, for the inside baseball, but anyway, let's move on to our news, shall we? Yep. I know that this doesn't sound like a news story because we've seen it now time and time again. Companies decide to go woke, and as a result, they wind up going broke. Whether it's been Dickies or Dick's Sporting Goods, or any other number of companies. There's now another example, and this one, well, it's a rather large company, and you might recognize them. Zuckerberg is expected to announce massive layoffs there over at Facebook after one of their biggest downturns. Now, mind you, this is a company that has largely been woke, but there are few companies and few CEOs that played a greater role in the downturn or quite frankly, in the 2020 election and how it turned out than Mark Zuckerberg, who gave something like, I think, $500 million to voter encouragement, to encourage people to get out to vote in Democrat districts. That's where he wound up spending that money. But by the way, his is not the only company that is facing such challenges. You also have Bed Bath & Beyond. Now, you might have heard recently that the CFO of Bed Bath & Beyond fell to his death from a high-rise building following announcing massive closures and layoffs. Now, mind you, this was another company, Mike, that once again decided that they were going to go woke. They decided they got rid of MyPillow. The Mike Lindell, who has MyPillow, who is basically has insisted that the 2020 election was stolen. They decided that they were going to remove his pillows from their stores. And as a result, many people decided, I am no longer going to Bed Bath & Beyond. Mike, and we've seen it, whether it's been the NBA, whether it's been the NFL, whether it's been Disney, company after company that decided to get involved or engaged in politics, in particular on the woke side of politics, they're paying the price financially.
Yeah, Craig, it really is, and it comes down to what we keep saying. Get woke, go broke. That's what continues to happen. Listen, you got the Zuckerberg right here. He's got what's he got a couple $1 billion in the bank, and he's going to lay people off. He's going to lay off thousands. He's already reduced the amount of people he hires every year. So effectively, he's hiring less than 3,000 to 4,000 people per year of the 10,000 he normally hires. So that right there is a huge chunk. People, I don't know why that doesn't count towards unemployment, but he's hiring less, so that's definitely more unemployed. And he's looking at doing layoffs. He had his big speech, and he talked about, I want you to look around and find out if you're happy here, because maybe you would let yourself go or something like that. I don't know what that's a new term for quitting, I guess, but
that's exactly what it is.
He called it self-ending your employment or something. And listen, look what's going on with like you said, the Bed Bath & Beyond, the CFO. But I mean, I see the article. It says he fell. Well, I mean, he technically did fall, but fall makes it sound like he slipped on a banana peel and fell out the window. I think there was a little more to it than he fell. So it's
if you step off of the ledge, technically you fell, because
right.
You're falling from that point on. You're falling.
Yes. It's I don't know. Fall always sounds more accidental to me, like when you're in the grocery store and you slip and fall. I fall down.
Well, but
anyway,
in that case, the slipping part was the accident. The falling part was, well, that was the effect of gravity.
Correct. But there has to be a something before the fall, right? The walk and fall. The pushed and fall, the banana peel and fall. It's nice. Even it's just another example of how the media is coddling the story, right?
Yes.
We don't want it to appear as though he jumped because of the stress of going broke. We're just going to say that he fell. He fell. That's all that happened. So just more reasons to hate the dishonest, misleading media. But this is going on. Listen, we've seen it everywhere else. Do we see it, Craig? We saw it at Dick's. Remember when they stopped with the firearms and they started criticizing? And then remember when they had their first quarter or their first half extremely hard downturn right before COVID hit? They blamed it on Under Armour because Under Armour was now being sold in multiple locations, and they blamed that loss on them. It's like, okay, it spreads. This is what you get, and people are now starting to really feel the repercussions of it. Not just the little guy, but the big guys taking it for shorts.
Well, and this is the reason why corporations need to stay out of these hot button political issues. Just stay away from them. I don't care. I mean, it's great, and I applaud the companies that support the issues that I support. But here's the problem: when you do that, you're going to upset some people on the other side who may be buying your product, and vice versa. Yep. If your job is to sell a product or to meet the needs of your customer, then meet the needs of your customer. Keep your personal politics, personal. You want to spend your money doing whatever, do whatever. But when you as a corporation, like, for example, Levi Strauss, decide I'm going to invest millions of dollars in confiscating people's firearms and taking away people's right to keep and bear arms, you're going to lose a customer. I will not buy Levi Strauss ever again. Levi jeans, nothing. No, not so much as a T-shirt. And, because guess what? I got options. Now, some places it's a little harder to do that, but I also figure if I can spend less with them, then I will spend less with them. Because, in the end, I do my best to try and let my vote, I try to vote with my wallet.
Exactly right. Vote with your wallet. Now, listen, there's a man out there, and he was the head of one of the world's most recognizable companies, and it probably still is one of the world's most recognizable companies. And I'll tell you, he gave some of the best business advice you ever heard. And it was, they said, well, why don't you get involved in politics? And he said, because Republicans buy shoes too.
I think we know exactly who you are referring to. None other than Mr. Michael Jordan.
Now, the wise and the GOAT, the real GOAT. Sorry, LeBron, the real GOAT, Michael Jordan. And
I would tend to agree.
His brand is not sullied. Yeah, his brand is not sullied. Like, look at what LeBron's done for his brand. So,
right. Well, so we know what happens when you get tied in with really, really bad politics. And, well, one great example of that. Now, you guys might remember that Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, was running a series of commercials in the state of Florida. The whole point of what he was doing was to badmouth Florida, talk about how bad and horrible Florida was. And, you know, a lot of people assumed that the reason why he was running those commercials, well, was because, you know, he was going to run for president, and Ron DeSantis is looking like at least one of the, if Donald Trump doesn't run, then Ron DeSantis is likely going to be the front runner for the Republican nomination. But it turns out there's an ulterior motive. And that ulterior motive might be because, well, his family, his in-laws, decided to run to Florida during the pandemic. Now, mind you, these are his in-laws. So the article here points out that longtime California residents Kenneth Siebel Jr. and Judith Siebel purchased a $3.3 million home in Naples, Florida in March of 2020. Mike, what was going on in March of 2020?
In Florida?
No, I'm in California.
You'd have to tell me what was going on in California, but in Florida, we were business as usual.
Oh, no. In California, we were shutting down schools. We were shutting down businesses. We were buying into the 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Our government had totally... Now, mind you, at least at that point, it was recommended, and most places decided that they were going to go ahead and do it. Yeah. But shortly afterwards, by the middle to end of the month, everything was just shut down, period, and remained so for months. Anyway, but his family decided that they were going to move to Florida. And
about that time in Florida, the governor had said, all right, let's see what's going on. We'll you know, there's no curve to flatten here, but we'll do the 2 week. We'll play along. And then about the third week, it was, all right, what's going on? And listen, they didn't officially lift the order here until I think it was September. And the governor only had to do that because there were many county mayors and city mayors that decided they wanted ultimate control of every breath you took. So he finally had to do an executive order to take away their authority to do that. But inside 4 weeks, we were at pretty much full operation, minus a couple of smaller jurisdictions, like I said, where the mayors were deciding that they wanted to do their Hitler impersonation. So, yeah, we were good. We were rocking and rolling here. So it was nice. It was nice. But you're this family here, Judith and Kenneth, by the way. You don't find that odd that they both end with TH? They're Judith and Kenneth. You don't see that a lot. So Judith and Kenneth decided they were going to leave Newsom's children behind, their grandchildren, and come to Florida, beautiful Naples, Florida. And Craig, they did other things besides just move to Florida. I don't know if you brought this up yet, but they decided to register Republican and make political contributions to Governor DeSantis as well.
Well, and once again, what I also find is funny is, now, mind you, they moved right around the same exact time, and it was literally almost the same exact time the governor's recommendations turned into mandates. And by the way, these are mandates that resulted in the permanent shuttering of over 40,000 California small businesses. We're talking restaurants and other small businesses that have since never reopened. They're done. They're closed.
Horrible. Yeah, it's obviously the control that did. Listen, you take away daily business operations from many of these small businesses, and Craig, it wouldn't take 10 months or a year or whatever it took there. Some it would take just a week or two. That's all there is.
Oh yeah. Well, yes, a lot of small businesses, they're going paycheck to paycheck or day to day or week to week, just like a lot of people who are working every day. But once again, it just goes to show you that there are those who are close to those who are in power. And by the way, just because the rest of us suffered doesn't mean that Gavin Newsom did, because let us remember, he was still going to restaurants and eating without wearing a mask. His children were still
Yep.
going to in-person school as he put them in private schools where they could still go to class. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like he was dealing with his own mandate. So should he become a presidential candidate, remember that he himself does not believe in following the very rules that he would mandate upon you and I.
Yeah, going to sporting events, not wearing a mask, and
Yep.
what did he say? Oh, no. They checked us all when we came in the door. Oh,
Oh,
okay,
I had my
gotcha.
mask on. I was just holding it in my hand for a picture.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for the
Really?
whole game. Yeah, it was on TV.
Because
Yeah,
by the
listen,
way, you do know
California. I don't know how
you do know
I don't know
camera
how
flashes kill COVID, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Craig, I don't know.
Did you,
I don't
hold on,
know how you do
wait.
it. I don't know how
Facebook,
California does
YouTube,
it.
Facebook, YouTube. That was a joke. It does not kill
Yeah.
COVID. It was a joke. Okay.
COVID with a K. COVID with a K. Yeah, Craig, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how California does it. I don't know how you put up with a guy that it's just over and over and over again. The rules apply to you, but not to him. He is, I mean, the definition of a ruler, of a tyrant, of a monarchy. He is above the law and can do what he wants, and you just have to suffer. I bet you my ass, Craig, that there were no brownouts at your state capitol yesterday.
No. Well, when you have a complicit media who refuses to point to the real issues and the real problems and who is causing them, for example, you just brought up a great example. The reason why we have brownouts here, or the reason why we're dealing with this, because we have a governor and a legislature, all run by Democrats, who've decided that green energy is more important than making sure we keep the lights on.
Yeah. Well, we all have to make sacrifices.
Right.
Not you. It doesn't seem like you are. It really doesn't seem like you are, Governor.
Right. Well, when you are part of the bourgeoisie, you don't have to make sacrifices.
Listen, he makes sacrifices. It's the scene from History of the World Part 1, right? Remember, these are my people. They love me. Pull. And he shoots one of them flying through the air, because he has no problem sacrificing other people and other people's needs.
Oui, monsieur. Don't mind if I do.
Do you know who you look like?
Oh, okay. All right, moving on to the next story. There's a story in the Wall Street Journal where they're talking about how companies are getting around or getting beyond the new quote unquote ghost gun regulations. These are the regulations that would restrict the ability to manufacture, sell, transfer what they deem to be firearms, but really are firearm parts. Now, the interesting thing is that they're talking about how these folks are finding new ways to get around the law. And Mike, what they're saying is in essence, what they're doing is, instead of selling them as kits, they're selling them as individual gun parts. Now, Mike, last I checked, isn't the new way actually the old way?
Yes. Yeah, they've listen. The ATF came down when they started to do what they interpreted this new rule to believe, and gave out much as the ATF always does, conflicting information to every different dealer out there. There were dealers that I spoke to from across Florida and from across the country, but it's easier to show you how different it is when you get a tight area. I would go from one dealer to another, and every one of them received different information from the ATF, and they were all told different, like I said, different things. One was told they could not sell gun parts and 80% stuff under the same roof, so they'd have to get a different building to do it from. One was told they couldn't do it under the same name, so they had to get a new business license. One was told it's okay as long as you use different companies to ship it. Every ATF office gave different conflicting information. When it comes right down to it, though, the rule says you as the consumer cannot receive anything additional to the frame, or should be the 80% item That's all you can get. So no tools, no paint, no anything. So you get the 80% in one box, and then in another you could get all the parts you need to finish it. That's okay.
Well, and that's the thing is when laws are confusing, it seems like they're confusing for a reason. The reason is to catch people. And
Yes.
and in this particular case, the way in which this law is set up, and by the way, this thing is eventually going to wind up getting thrown out. It's already been thrown out to a degree. At least there's well, anyway, it's already been thrown out to a degree.
Partial
Eventually, this
injunction
entire
in place.
thing is going to wind up getting thrown out because, once again, firearms are defined in statute, and if you want to change statute, that meaning law, if you want to change law, then you got to go through the legislative branch, not the executive branch.
That's correct.
But anyway, this is just an example, and as much as I love the Wall Street Journal, it's an example of people not knowing or understanding firearms, the firearms industry, or firearms culture, writing about firearms, the firearms industry, and firearms culture, and looking rather ignorant in the process.
Yes, they do. They always do it. That's what we say all the time, Craig. Is why don't gun laws make sense? Because the people that write gun laws don't know anything about guns.
Well, they call them. Well, that's why when they say common sense gun laws, I'm like, it's more like common nonsense. It's not common sense because
Yes.
the common nonsense. The reason why I call it common nonsense is because most people don't know. They don't know firearms technology, and they don't know firearms law, and they don't know how the two intersect. And many of those people are actually making policy. I don't consider myself an expert, but I know enough about both to know when something is a bad idea.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And that's you would be in the minority of those that know about gun laws. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, that's like we're going to be at Gun Rights Policy Conference coming up here at the end of the month. What's interesting about that is that it's not like SHOT, in that at SHOT, shooting, hunting, outdoor trade show, there you have the gun nuts, right? The people who are into guns. At the Gun Rights Policy Conference, you have the people who are into gun policy. So there's a difference. And there's not to say there's not an intersection, but there's a difference.
Right.
And I'm more on the gun policy side as opposed to the gun side.
Yeah, I like the interwovenness between the two, and I like to deal with both. So
Yes, you do. All right, this last one, and I gotta say, I'm wondering what is going on there in the state of Alabama. So Alabama is talking about doing away with their concealed carry permit because they have constitutional carry now. And the challenge is that now you've got Alabama sheriffs who are now complaining. What they're basically, in essence, saying is, well, look, we rely on those concealed carry permit resources in order to help fund our sheriff's department. What are we going to do without those permits? Well, Mike, here's my problem. First of all, these are supposed to be fees that are charged for a service that is provided, right? Meaning you're not supposed to be using those resources to fund other stuff. In other words, if you don't have permits, or if you're not requiring permits, then you're going to have fewer people applying for permits. If you have fewer people applying for permits, that means you need less staff actually dealing with those applications. So then the amount of money that people should have to pay, I mean, your budget is going to go down, isn't it? I mean, that only makes sense.
listen, these sheriffs, Craig, that are now standing there saying they've lost money because of constitutional carry, are the same sheriffs that stood there last year and the year before and the year before and the year before when they succeeded and said, we shouldn't get rid of constitutional carry. We need it. It's going to be a murder in the streets. It's going to be mayhem. We can't get rid of a permitted carry. We can't have constitutional carry. These are the same sheriffs now complaining that they've lost money. You're right, Craig. Their statute in that state says that the fee that they charge for licenses, it can only cover the cost of the licenses. It can't. It's not a profit-making operation. It's meant to cover the cost of the licenses, the maintenance of the licenses, entering in the databases. That's what it's for. So now that these sheriffs are coming forward and saying, I've lost $300,000 this year in my budget, hold on, Sheriff. Are you now saying you're lying about what you're doing with the money? You're saying now that you're violating the state statute that says it's for to cover costs only. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what it sounds like you're saying to me. Because they're begging now to have permits reinstated so they can get their money back, or they want the state to pay for it. So, Craig, and you know this, depending on the state you're in, you get your concealed licenses either at the county level or at the state level. Some you could do both. Florida, for a very long time, you only got them from the state level. It's only been the past 2-3 years that you can now go to the local tax collector's office and get them done, not at the sheriff's office. Same thing in Georgia. In Georgia, you can get them from the state, or you go to the court and you can get them done. So, but this is all, this is short-sightedness on his part. So the sheriff wants us to believe that he wasn't able to go and say, all right, if I have 20,000 people in my county that get a license every year, I'm going to have to reduce that next year because there won't be a requirement. Now, we know that some people are going to continue to get them, Craig, because they want to travel to states that want you to have a license for reciprocity. But Craig, he's only, I want to defend him here, Craig. Alabama's only the 25th state to get constitutional carry. Surely there was no way for them to check with other states and see what the reduction in licenses was going to be. There's no way they could have done that. No way they could have picked up a phone and done it. Absolutely not.
That just makes, once again, that just makes sense. But keeping in mind that these are also folks who are they're worried and concerned about their budgets. And by the way, just so you know, that's not your job. It's not your job to take money from people who pay for a service to use it to fund other stuff. That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely right. Craig, the state did this analysis. The states actually set the minimum at $15. There's a couple of them that do $15 licenses, but most of them do 20. And here's how it works. It's like the sheriffs have got salesmen employed for them. So, Craig, $20 sounds like a great deal for a concealed weapons permit. But what it is $20 a year, and you can have up to 5 years. So if I walk in the door and go, I want to get my concealed permit, they're going to go $20. It's only good for 1 year. Well, I'd like it for longer. All right, it's $20 a year. You can have up to 5. So on year 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're putting that extra $20 in their pocket. So if somebody buys a 5-year license, instead of $100 going towards fees, it's 20 going towards fees and 80 going towards the sheriff.
Well,
that's how they're making their money. And that's against the state
now,
statute.
see, that's a little tidbit that I did not know, and now all of a sudden it's making a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Gotta wonder. Let's move on to...
Yeah, but again, it's amazing, Craig. The only ones complaining are the same sheriffs that complained they didn't want permits to go away because it was too dangerous. It was too dangerous last year.
Right.
This year,
now we know what their real motivation was.
Yeah.
Scratch and Skrilla.
Yep. There you go.
All right, so let's get back to our parting shot. All right, so this first one is interesting because, well, obviously the FBI raid over at Mar-a-Lago was, it's the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to memes. And so this one, it just fits. And, keeping in mind, and I think this just goes to show you the absurdity of how law enforcement, in this case, the FBI or FBI leadership, has decided who is going to get raided and who is not. Now, these are both the sons of presidents. The one smoking the cigarette with the beard, that is not Barron Trump, in case you're wondering.
No.
That would be the young lad on the right. So it's got the two pictures. It's got Hunter Biden and it's got Barron Trump. And it says, guess whose room was raided by the FBI?
Well, listen, I'm gonna defend them here. Like, what's Barron? Barron's 16 years old. He lives at home. They know where to find him. Hunter, he's in random hotel different one every weekend. It's harder to raid Hunter's hotel. You don't even know where he is.
All you got to do is find out where he's live streaming from, because he's got a camera somewhere where he's hanging out with a hooker and.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. Little hooker and
Look, you just gotta ask. You just gotta ask the right questions.
yeah.
Mike, I'll let you introduce this next parting shot. This is the one regarding. It relates to our story regarding Bed Bath and Beyond.
Just waiting to see it.
Oh, you're waiting to see
Waiting
it.
for-
There we go.
Waiting
Bam.
to see it. So yeah, when Craig sent me this one earlier today, I was like, "That's funny, but do you think it's appropriate?" And he said, "You do it. You do it. People will believe it's your idea." So here's Craig's. Craig's being says,
wait a minute. So wait a minute. So wait. So you are going to. You're the one that got the bus. You're the one that drove the bus up. Then you're going to throw me under the bus when I ask the question. Are you sure this is appropriate? And then you're going to turn around and throw me. Go finish. Just go ahead and finish.
That's a cute story, bro. So here it is. It says NYPD trying to determine the cause of death of the CEO who jumped out of the high-rise window. My guess, pavement. So, yeah. So
Now,
my question was too soon? Too
soon. That was the question. Too soon.
Too soon? Too soon?
That's bad. But obviously
but
they're
true.
wondering, was he murdered or did he commit suicide? Anyway, yeah. Slightly
It might not have been
tasteless,
pavement, Greg.
but
I mean, it might
very
not have been
much,
pavement.
very
It
much
might have-
along the lines of something that Mike Piwowarski would joke about.
Well, yeah. Listen, if you ask me to put this out there for you, I'll put it out there for you. I mean, it's I've got the intestinal fortitude to let it go. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, and they say pavement, Greg, but it also might have been steel and glass. He might have hit a car. We don't know.
Depending on what he landed on it. That is correct.
Yeah,
That is correct. All right. So this next one, and Mike appropriately, when he found this one, exclaimed, "This is how I feel about just about every Democrat that I know." And now this is a T-shirt, and I might actually just go find and buy this T-shirt.
Right. You
It
can do
says,
this one. You like it
"Stupid
so much.
people
Go
are
ahead.
like
Yeah.
glow sticks. I want to snap them and shake the shit out of them until the light comes on."
Very true. Very true.
Because there are some Democrats I know who are not unreasonable people, who are not stupid people, except their support of Democrats and Democrat policies. I'm like, how do you not see the stupidity and the impact that stupidity is having on us today? I just don't get it.
I met one of these people the other day. I was at a gun store, surprisingly, right? And one of those flat earthers was there, and we were having a conversation about firearms, and he was a little bit off center, and then something came up about the moon landing and flat Earth, and he asked me a question, and I looked at him and I went, "Oh, you're an idiot. Okay, I get it now. Oh, I see. I was trying to figure you were a little off. Now I figured out you're an idiot." And he got a little insulted, and I told him, to go drive off the end of the earth, and then left him alone. So they're out there. These idiots are out there, and you just want to snap them and shake the light into them. It's just
Such is true. Such is true. Well, folks, it's come to that time once again today. So let's get that shout out to our sponsors one more time.
Yep. Let's say hi to our good friends, Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. If you got that AR, odds are you probably have one of their barrels. But now you can get them individually to put in your own builds. Go to hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Make sure you reach out and say hi with your dollars. And then, of course, for excellent, awesome tactical gear, go to uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Once again, their links are in the description to this program. Please visit them and let them know that the guys over at the Rundown sent you. Finally, want to encourage you, please remember, like, share, subscribe to the program, and encourage your friends to do the same. By the way, if you have ideas for news stories, things you'd like us to talk about and cover, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section, and we will review it and get back to you. With that,
There you go.
we're gonna
Just
call
like
it,
that. Yeah.
Yeah. With that, we're going to call it a day, and we'll be back tomorrow on Thirsty Thursday.